Hey guys, this is Rajiv here, and today with me we have Akshay and Prasanna. And this time we will be trying to understand the proxy design pattern, which comes under the structured design pattern. This is one of the final design pattern, and post which we will be moving on to the behavioral design pattern.
Awesome.
So let's try to understand what is the proxy design pattern. I think you are very much familiar with the word proxy. Proxy is nothing but a substitute for our main object or main class. In a literal definition, even it can, taking the definition literally, it can also be a main person or some object also. So in what scenario we want to use a proxy design pattern? Let's try to imagine a scenario where you have an object, but you want to, like, say, add some additional functionality to the object while returning that object to the client. You don't want to meddle with the core functionality of that object or how it is being returned, or it may be some legacy project. You don't want to interfere with that legacy project, and you want to say add some extra functionalities over the response. What you will do? Simple solution is to create a wrapper. That's what is the proxy design pattern. Create a wrapper over the solution, over the object itself, over the core object. That's what is the proxy design pattern. One very common use case is
when you said that manipulation. So you're saying that in the response itself, whatever we are getting, that will be a object with which we want to manipulate that object structure altogether or something like that.
Correct. Exactly. If that is a scenario, like just for example, like say you had a legacy application which was returning a response in an XML format. Correct. But nowadays every structure is expecting in the JSON format.
Yes.
So we can create our own proxy class or something for our new user interface, for our new applications, which expects the response in the JSON without interfering with the XML structure. Still, the previous previous clients can call our core application to get the result in the XML, and our new application call the newer application via that proxy class and get the result in the JSON. In that proxy class, we will be dealing with the manipulation of the request, handling the tokens, whatever the request is passing, those kind of scenario, and finally outputting out the result in the desired format in which the client is expecting. The one use case which I have mentioned in this snapshot is that this is one of the common application. Like you have an application in which you have created an application in a particular domain, right? That is working fine. That was working fine, and it is perfectly fine. But now you have created a new application, say just a web application user interface, and while trying to access that earlier application from your new web application, you will be getting the cross-origin resource issue, because they both are in completely different domain. Correct. It is a very common scenario which happens. With browser anytime denies that access whenever you're trying to access a server from a different domain which is not listed in the which is not authorized by the server. So what you can do, you can create a proxy server for your web application, and since it is a server to server communication, there will be no issue of the cross origin, and you can directly your web application can contact your proxy class, and that proxy server will be responsible for communicating with the server class, which
actual server.
So that way you can bypass this cross origin resource issue. And in your proxy class, you can handle with whatever the token authentication mechanism you have created. So this is another use case which is which I wanted to explain. Proxy design pattern is nothing new. It is a very common and very well used design pattern. I think in almost all of the organization, it is being used in one or the other way. I think I've already provided the introduction with the design pattern. What it is trying to do: create a substitute for your main subject object and implement the functionality in the to access the subject object from the proxy class. That's what our objective is. So let's see the structure, how it is being implemented, how we can implement this. So we have created, as always, we have our real subject, and our client wants to perform some method on the real action. But again, due to the due to some one of the or the other reason, it can't directly access to the real subject, because like just say you can say that authentication mechanism exposed by the real subject is different from the client which has implemented. So what you can do, you can create a proxy class which can implement your own mechanism, your own authentication mechanism, and they both proxy and real subject will be implementing the same interface. So client won't have to deal with changing of the classes and the attributes, because it was already implementing the subject interface. It was the contract was, we are not changing the contract. So the class will always be same. Proxy, it will be easier for the proxy to implement the interface of the subject, and from inside the proxy, it will just implicitly it will call the real subject to action, and finally return the result back to the client. This is how the structure will look like for the proxy class design pattern. Any question up till now? Let me know if you have any doubts. The problem statement is clear, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try to quickly move into the implementation of the private class proxy design pattern, and we can see how it can happen. I'll quickly create a new project. Let's move on to our standard example, which we used to talk about in terms of car, right? So we are having a car object, and we want to implement we want to ensure that the driver who is riding that car is above the authorized age. Okay, so that's our problem here. That's our objective here. So first of all, let's create our basic car object. So we are having a class car. I will implement certain functionality. Public void start car. Just a drive car. Drive. Okay. I'll just simply write a console.writeLine driving. Okay, and now we want to ensure that this car, we want to create a proxy for this car, so that and proxy will be dealing with the authorization of that user, whether the user is above the authorization or not. So I will simply create a proxy car, and that proxy car will be handling the whether the user is above the authorization or not. So but this car should have the same interface for the proxy car. So in that, for that to ensure, we need to create a iCar interface, which we discussed in our structure. I'll create a interface iCar. In that interface, I'll just public void to car. So this method, sorry, to car, I'm saying try proxy car. I'll implement iCar, and I'll be console.writeLine. Instead of console.writeLine, I need to have say car object itself in this car. Instead of car, let's use the iCar itself. Okay, I'll make it as a private. Let's create a constructor for this one. Let's create a private variable also for the driver. Let's say a driver would be there. Instead of driver, let's just take a driver age. That would be int. Okay. I'll create a constructor for this one. Public proxy car. And in this, I'll be taking a car object, iCar object, and int driver age. In this, I'll be setting the car object itself, car, and driver age equal to age. While now we want to ensure that if driver age less than, say, we want to authorize it above 18, else I will simply do the car dot drive, and in this we can write we can deny the authorization. Console dot write line access denied. So we have our, let's create our client side functionality to ensure that it is working fine. I'll just create a iCar. Car is equal to new. This time we'll be creating a proxy car instead of the car to implement this functionality. And I'll be creating a new car along with age. Let's say the first time age is around 15, and car.drive. And let's create a new car. Same thing. This time age is of 25. Okay, so this is how the structure would look like. The key part would be the interface, and that interface would be implemented by both our car and the proxy car object. And via the proxy car, we will be invoking the main functionality of the car object. Let's just quickly test it out in this scenario to see whether this application is working or not. I'll run this. First time we should be access denied. Second time we should be seeing the driving. Yeah, as you can see, we have access denied for the 15H and driving for the 25H. This is how the structure would look like and the quick implementation for our proxy design pattern.
That manipulation part, where are we doing exactly?
So this is means proxy pattern is not just for manipulation. Means it's just not for the manipulation of the response. It has a wide variety of use cases. It is like just one use case. I can say I want to add a functionality. This functionality should be that if driver age is of like within the certain range, then only he should be able to drive. This is the one use case. Another use case is like which we discussed in the previous response, the manipulation of the response. Like suppose car is returning a response. This we have a certain kind of method, like say public return, say whatever the car's car details, and we want to ensure that the proper authorized user is only getting the details. Or say like in the structure, the details whatever it is giving, it is in the string format, and we want to return the details in a certain object kind of format to the user client. So we can implement that functionality also in this proxy design pattern without interfering with our core object. This is like proxy is having a wide variety of use cases, but the main objective is like the gist of all the use cases is that addition of a functionality over your core object without modifying your core object. That's the gist of the functionality. That's the gist of the proxy design pattern.
Okay.
So yeah, that's it for today's session. See you in the next class.